What's up, LatiNation family? It's Elijah Gail. I'm here with Gabby Gabriel, Joe Germanotta, the co-founders of Second Wind Media. The first question I really want to know is, how did you guys get acquainted with each other?
Basically, the first day I moved to New York, I was at Soho House and met Joe's publicist, who that day got appointed to find somebody to make a website for Joanne. And incidentally, I own one of the top Chinese marketing agencies, and we're very good at websites. And so I told the girl, you couldn't be asking a better person to do this job. And so she brought me to the restaurant.
And, we met, and, she, pitched her business model, business plan. And, it was exactly the things that I needed to transform or to relaunch the restaurant from just a restaurant to an entertainment venue. So I needed somebody to work with for the strategic planning and the project management and the relaunch and bringing in influencers and getting the media involved. And, she helped me build a team, right? And, it made sense, and it has made sense going forward. And, and as a result of the collaboration that we had, and as well we worked together, I said, why don't we start a business? There's a bigger need out there, all right? I mean, it's not just websites. I mean, the big need today is social media, because there's so many different platforms. And let's face it, every product, artist, company, etc., I mean, they need to get the word out. They need fresh content all the time. There's several different platforms, right? Doing it yourself doesn't work, all right? So we've got a company that'll do that for you. But more importantly, when once you get to that social media presence and somebody clicks and goes to your website, it's got to look the same.
Yeah.
They got to go together, right? They got to blend, and they got to tell the whole story, right? So that's how we got together, and that's the mission of the company.
Where did the name Second Wind come from?
Second Wind is actually, that's the corporate name for the restaurant, Second Wind Restaurant, LLC. And the name Second Wind itself came from me. I've had several businesses in my career, all right? And I've always found that in a startup, there always comes a time where there's peaks and valleys. I mean, you start out and, things like sometimes they take off, sometimes they don't take off, but then they have a lull, right? And it can be very frustrating. And that's the time where you got to decide, am I going to keep on going with this? And that's where, you dig deep down and you get your second wind if you decide you're going to keep going. All right, you got to suck it up and get out on the field and keep running.
I love that. And everybody needs to hear some advice from Joe Germanotta right there. Now, Gabby, what about you for your background? I know that you have a company in Asia. Now, talk to me about that and like your background in business and marketing.
Well, I see business as activism. And before I started my business in Asia, I actually was an LGBTQ activist. But I realized that as an activist, it's difficult to make money. And I found that I change more minds by being in the rooms where decisions are being made, and doing smart business, big business is a form of changing people's minds about the people who can do business. And for me, that's very motivating, why I love doing business.
Now, you being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, and Joe, you being an ally, and why is it so important that the media space really showcases the diverse talents that so many have to offer?
There really isn't enough queer people represented in media and in business, I would say. And I believe that showing different types of faces allow people to see themselves in those spaces and to dream big. I had everything stacked against me. There's no reason that I should be successful, the normal.
You're really smart, though.
But I used it. So many people are like, they're scared to use their talents, and I hope that my determination.
Gabby's being too modest. Okay? She really is. I mean, she's persistent. She's got a good head on her shoulder. She's got a good business acumen. She knows marketing. She's, knows how to run a team and to manage projects. I mean, she's really helped me, along with this relaunch and putting together the full package.
Now, for you, being the owner of Joanne, how have you kind of been able to create Second Wind, but also, still run a business at Joanne?
It's hard. Okay, I won't say it's not on. What I did was, in the past, what I've done is I've hired one manager, right? And I've always had a little bit of difficulty with that because you're still single threaded, all right? Now what I do is I grow my people from internally, my staff, and right now I have 4 key that I depend upon. I have Kaylee, Shyla, Michael, and Chef Jorge, right? Each of them has individual responsibilities in the restaurant. The chef takes care of the back of the house. Kaylee handles private parties. Shyla does proposals. Michael handles all the hiring and firing and staffing and HR issues, right? So I've got those bases covered. I handle the finances of the business, right? And what that has done is it's allowed me to now get more involved in the development of the venue business. And with that, I've hired 2 others, Sam Wilson and Jupiter Genesis, who's our host for our weekly drag show. And she curates all the shows. And Sam is our technician. So he handles sound and scheduling and keeps the place running on the nights that we're having these performances.
How do you think that media has changed in the past 5 to 10 years?
Which media?
Like social media, marketing, and all of that.
Oh, I think it's become overwhelming. All right. I mean, this is a business of eyeballs. And the mission of any company right now is to attract your eyeballs, right? To get you on their page or to get you to look at their goods and services. And there's so many ways to reach customers, right? That you either have to pick and choose or you have to try to do them all inefficiently, or you can hire a third party that knows how to do them and handles them across the board. And that's what we're trying to do with Second Wind Media.
Now, I understand that you guys have a lot of projects coming up. What are some projects that you guys can talk about with me?
Well, I'm excited about the New York Television Festival in the fall. We're the official media partner for. And Joe's daughter recently launched a new company in Las Vegas, Natalie Germanotta. It's called On Stage Essentials. We're helping them from full branding to their launch party through social media and execution. So we're really excited about that.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you. AI has completely changed media in the media landscape. How do you guys navigate AI? Do you use it as a tool or are you kind of staying away from that?
Yeah, I use it as a tool, but just to hone skills. In other words, information or content, that I'm personally putting out. Now, I'm not the things the Gabby's team works on, okay? But personally, that's how I use it. I've looked at using it for other aspects of the business, like answering telephones and redirecting calls and taking reservations. I mean, I think there's a place for it. I don't think it's evolved enough yet for the restaurant business. I think there's some basic services that it can provide, and answering questions and locations and time availability, et cetera. But actually doing bookings right now is a little bit more difficult, especially for us, because a lot of our bookings are not just guests making restaurant reservations, they're booking experiences. So they're coming to see the drag show or the emerging artist show or the cabaret on Friday nights, right? Those are specific experiences that they have to click on because they're paid events.
What is the most difficult thing that you guys each have to deal with?
Getting the right people in the right seats, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I like to grow from within, all right? To find somebody that wants to work. I find that when I hire somebody from the outside that has, a great deal of experience, and they come into the culture, a lot of times it doesn't work out. The other members of the team, get frustrated.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why I like to, bring people in. I'll start them out as, bus girls and hosts, and they work their way through and they become, waiters and bartenders. And the chef does the same thing with the cooks. He'll bring them in as dishwashers, and after several years, he'll start training them slowly to do lunches. And then, they become, pretty good cooks. So we're helping people grow.
I've learned a lot about leadership through Joe. He's really a great mentor, and he really gives people chances to make mistakes and learn.
Now, we got an exclusive. Now, you recently told me that there is a possible TV show with Joanne that could be coming out soon. Talk to me about that.
So basically, Joanne has evolved into an emerging artist hub, not just emerging, established artists as well.
Right.
And through what we're doing here, we see an opportunity for a show, basically, what it takes. Because it's not as simple as being able to sing a song.
I mean, I'll tell you, now I live stream all the shows.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday when we do a drag show, or last night we did the emerging artist show, and there's always 200-300 people hopping online now and watching what's going on here, which is great. We had really, really big success in following with when we had Tierney from Las Vegas. She's a Lady Gaga impersonator. Right, then she came back and did an Amy Winehouse show. Same thing. So as we're doing this week, tomorrow night, we have Elton John coming in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're fun. We just had a Taylor Swift.
Wow.
The place was full of 12-year-olds singing. I mean, it was great.
What are some essential keys that you want to tell those in the LGBT plus community about when it comes to the media space?
I would say just be yourself, authenticity. And that's one of the core values, I think, of Joanne and Second Wind and all of the things we're doing, is that no matter who you are, you should just own who you are, because that's the quickest way to be successful, by knowing yourself and not allowing your identity to get in the way of where you want to go, basically.
I try to be, as supportive as I can. We have the Born This Way Foundation, and I'm supportive here with the drag queens. All right, that want to come in and perform, and they're starting out. Now we're going to start out another program on Sundays where we're going to bring in some emerging drag queens, right?
With Scarlet Envy.
Yeah, Scarlet Envy's going to come, and she's going to host the first one for us with Jupiter Genesis. But the mission here is to give people a platform to show their talents. Okay, whatever it is, whether it's being a drag queen and singing and dancing, or whether it's just being a stage performer. We have comedians that come in that are just starting out, and they want to try out their materials. So we have a range of different entertainment. I mean, the emerging artist show is becoming my favorite, because when the kids are coming in and they're showing what they can do.
That's exciting.
It's really a lot of fun. And then when I see one that looks like, hey, this kid's got some talent, we'll maybe introduce them to a friend of mine, Max Lawrence, who's a voice coach, or we'll invite them back to do their own solo performance on a Saturday night, so they can evolve their skills. All right, it's not just being able to sing anymore. I mean, you got to sing, you got to dance. You got to have a stage presence. You got to be able to build a relationship with the audience. All right. I mean, it's a whole package. The only way you can do that is if you have a stage to practice on. And that's what we're doing.
I love that. Now, last question for you guys. Where do you guys see the rest of 2025 going into 2026? Where does Second Wind go?
Well,
it's a rocket ship.
that's for sure. That's for sure. Entertainment is marketing, and marketing is entertainment. So this is a strategic partnership. Like Joe said, you got to attract attention. Joe is one of the most experienced people in entertainment on the planet, I would say.
By trial and error, I think.
So I think his expertise in entrepreneurship and entertainment, and mine in marketing, anyone who works with us, they're going to be successful.
Perfect client is an emerging artist, or a new product, or someone that needs business development, that I can use my business development skills tied together with her marketing background. And then if they're entertainers, I mean, we can I can point them in some direction of, okay, what does it take now to get noticed? Where do you got to go?
Well, Gabby, Joe, thank you so much, and congratulations, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for the rest of the year and beyond.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you, Elijah.
Thank you guys so
Thanks.
much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.